For the third straight year and the sixth time in the past 8 seasons, the Boston Celtics have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, led by Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, that star pairing. Jaylen Brown, obviously, one more year in the league, 8th year. Jayson Tatum, it's his 7th. Been in the playoffs all of those years. But although this is a great accomplishment for the Boston Celtics, making it to the Final Four in the NBA, let alone any sport, is an incredible accomplishment. But let's dive a little bit deeper. Jayson Tatum, since he's came into the league, he was a top 3 pick. Some people thought he should have been the number 1 overall pick. Obviously, we know how that draft played out many years ago. But I don't think enough put as much pressure on Jayson Tatum as it is necessary, because everybody wants to label him a superstar. Everybody wants to say he's the next guy. He's the next best player in the league. He deserves to be in the real MVP conversation. And to me, I haven't bought it from the jump, and I still don't buy it. And to be completely honest, I don't think that the Boston Celtics should be satisfied with his mediocre performances come playoff time. And making the conference finals, like I said, off the bat, great accomplishment. But you should want and you need to achieve more when you're at the stage at the Boston Celtics are right now. As I mentioned, 6th time getting to the conference finals in the Tatum and Brown era. I never thought this duo worked. And this, to me, is the make or break year, because as I mentioned, they've had some really big collapses. We know what happened last year in the conference finals. They were down 3-1. Yes, they came back to force a Game 7, but the Heat pulled through. The year before, everybody thought they were the favorite. They were going to beat the Warriors, going to break through, win the finals. They lost to the Warriors. The year before, they lost in the first round to the Nets. The year before that, once again, the Heat beat them en route to the finals. So it seems like a repeating occurrence of the Celtics seemingly putting all the pieces in the right place, but they just can't get over the hump. And to me, like I said, I think that's because they have great players, that's for sure. But to me, they don't have that number 1 guy. If you look at all of the teams to either get to the finals or get over the hump and win an NBA finals in the past decade plus, they all have that one guy. As of late, Nikola Jokic, obviously 3-time MVP, finals MVP, champion, all that and more. Giannis before him, Steph Curry before him, LeBron before him, and we get it. On and on. Those guys proved they were the guy in the biggest moments. But I wanted to start with Jayson Tatum because, as I mentioned, yes, he did have 25, 10, and 9 in a closeout game, but it was against a really banged-up Cavs team, missing Karis LeVert, missing Donovan Mitchell, missing Jared Allen. Jayson Tatum is only averaging a little over 24 points this year in the playoffs for the Celtics. Although they've steamrolled teams in the first round and now in the second round, getting to the conference finals is great. I have expected more from Jayson Tatum. When you've gotten to the conference finals, when you got into an NBA finals a couple years ago, that just raises the bar so much higher. I get he's really young, but at a certain point, you need to transition from a great young player to a superstar, to a guy that does it on the highest level. And I just haven't seen that from Tatum. Yes, he's had good playoff performances in the past, and this year's different. They added Drew Holiday, former All-Star. They added Kristaps Porzingis, former All-Star. That's great, but still, he needs to show that he's the guy. And to me, there's just too many times where he's standing in the corner, standing outside the perimeter on the three-point line, and he's being a shooting guard instead of being a guy that demands the ball like a true superstar does and finding the range that he wants to score, either if that's down low in the paint or a three-point shot, and getting others involved is what the true superstars in this league just do better than anybody else. And I don't think that's him. I think he's a great player. He's a great piece to a championship, but I'm just not sure he's the best guy on a championship team, because that's what this Celtics team needs. Yes, the pieces are great. Porzingis is out with a calf strain. Hopefully he'll be back. he's much needed. I don't think the Celtics win a finals this year or in this era with this core if they don't have Porzingis. He's the X factor. He's the 7-foot-plus guy that hits threes, that defends the ball, blocks shots. He does it all. He's unbelievable. I just feel that everybody has pushed the pressure to everybody else, and more has been put on other players like Derek White, like Drew Holiday, like Jaylen Brown. More pressure needs to be put on Jayson Tatum. But getting to Jaylen Brown, he's another guy who got a $200 million plus deal last offseason. He's been in the league, like I said, 8 years at this point, and he's not producing like a superstar, like a guy that's getting paid $200 million and getting a contract like that. Him himself is averaging a little over 23 points this playoffs. Yes, that's good, but the inconsistencies is just concerning from Jaylen Brown. It just is. He put up 11 points in that closeout game. Yes, they didn't truly need him, but the Cavs did come back at the end there. He has too many up and down performances for my liking, and especially for a guy of that price tag. I get you need to keep your homegrown stars, but to me, Jaylen Brown hasn't fully proved that he can be a second best guy on the team, and I think that's the problem, like I'm getting to with the Celtics. They have a great roster, a great well-rounded roster, but they don't have a true number one guy. They don't have a superstar. And if their depth is shrinking by the game, like when they're missing Porzingis, I don't think the Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals.